launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right. It is no bitch and moan Monday today. No siree. As the Buccaneers break a 4-game losing streak. Florida State beats Miami to remain in the top 4 playoff contention. USF gets a dub. They may be headed to a bowl game. The Lightning lay the egg of the weekend. That was ugly. But we'll get to it all this morning. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show here on this Victory Monday. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports joining me here. It's good. It's good to finally have a rousing weekend, and we'll get into this Bucs win, which I may have a different take on it than a lot of people after watching the film. But we'll see. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad that we don't have to have a bitch and moan Monday. It had become a trend, but here we are. The Bucs win. My UCF Knights somehow pull off a huge win.
What the hell was that? I
couldn't explain it. Still have no words to describe it. Your FSU Noles get a big win against Miami. USF is a win away from being eligible. And the Florida Gators hung around for, 3/4 and change against the best player in college football. So give them credit there, I guess. So good weekend of football, I think.
Did Jaden Daniels wrap up the Heisman this weekend?
I think so.
I
don't care that they got 3 losses.
No.
You do that in an SEC game on the road, I think you're the Heisman.
First quarterback to throw for over 350 and rush for over 200. 17 carries, 224 yards. 17 of 22, 372 passing. 12 carries for 234 yards. Oh, my God. Since the moment I first saw him in person, I said, this dude is super special. He just runs. He's got such a great feel for the running of the football and great vision. And he throws the ball. I mean, how is he not a first-round pick? They're not touting him as the first-round pick. I don't know.
I think he's starting to get play now because, how can you deny it? But I've already been, penciling in, when I'm doing my mock drafts lately, I'm like, I don't know. This by the Buccaneers, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Bucs uniform.
He looked good in a Bucs uniform to me.
Well, yes, he would. Yeah. All right. So we'll get to that. I want to go in on the Gators and Jaden Daniels just yet. And in Florida State, I went to the game on Saturday. Took my son. Part of our tradition of going to a big FSU game every year, and he flew in from Chicago. I'm telling you, man, this brought back feelings of yesteryear. You can hear it in my voice. I'm still, it was nonstop. That place was packed to the gills. In fact, they're ripping out a ton of seats, which I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. So that's the biggest crowd. I think they're probably going to have maybe forever. That's it. That's it. Because it's going down. Numbers are going down. But it was packed. What an atmosphere. Hats off to Miami for playing a really tough game. And I knew they would. You know what? We said this on Friday. I wasn't buying into the 14-point spread, although I think FSU should have won the game by 3 scores. I think they should have won the game by 3 scores. They give up a cheapie there at the end. The Florida State second half defense has been almost perfect. And that includes against Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner in LSU. Let's not forget that second half shutdown, Operation Shutdown they put on Jaden Daniels in LSU. Mike Norvell has developed a strategy to keep his guys fresh, especially in the defensive line. And, when you're not watching it on TV, where we were literally 30 rows up on the 50-yard line, incredible seats. Thank you, Jeff Italiano, my man. So you can see how he's constantly moving guys in and out. Come second half, they're fresh as can be. And and Miami, I think, just wore down a little bit, if not for that one big play. Some stupid calls in the game, some really stupid calls. Clearly a safety that should have been a safety. Miami got points out of it anyway, so I don't think it turned the game. FSU is clearly the better team. The quarterback position was the difference. Miami's quarterbacking was awful. And Florida State's was pretty damn good. Jordan Travis was good. I think he's only had 2 turnovers the entire season. He's not going to win the Heisman, but he's done everything he can to keep this team perfect. And, they'll never have a better shot to get to the college football playoff. They'll never will. And now they've got to go in North Alabama this week so they can rest guys up, get healthy for the Gators game. That Gator defense is just, FSU could put 70 on them if they want to. That Gator defense is awful. They'll play better in the swamp. I get that. But they're just not good. They're just really young. They get pushed around. From a skill standpoint, they're not very good. And FSU's really, really good. They've got some incredible skill players from Trey Benson to Keon Coleman again, making the difference. Johnny Wilson, I thought, had a pretty damn good game. All their stars, I thought, showed up, and it was as convincing a 27-20 win, I think, as you could possibly have. What did it look like on TV?
Yeah, it was great on TV. The atmosphere for sure. I thought Miami played a really good game. I mean, their defense, that's a tough defense. And I thought I was getting a little nervous, like the middle part of the game. I think maybe second quarter, Miami started to get some momentum, and it really was kind of what we said, the trenches. I mean, Miami, I mean this. Miami might be better in the trenches. I don't even know if it's might. I think they are better in the trenches than Florida State is at the moment. I thought they were bullying FSU's offensive line through parts of that game. Yep. I really did. That's what kept Miami in it, was their defensive line and the pressure they were bringing to the point where Jordan couldn't even throw it away. Like, he didn't even have time on some of those to throw it away. But there were a couple times FSU got down to the red zone and down around the 10, and they just thought the play calling left a little bit to be desired. Like, there was the first time they got down there around the 10, they had 3 opportunities, like first and goal, second goal, third and goal, and they didn't take one shot to the end zone. Yeah. And it was too much trickery. So I think they could have won by multiple scores. It ends up being a 1-score game, but the defense came up big. I mean, but at this point, just grind these victories out. That's all you got to do. And just keep winning, and you'll leave no doubt.
Yeah. I think, they're obviously going to – I'm pretty sure they're going to play Louisville in the who escaped on Thursday night. Yep. So Louisville will be in the top 10. They should be in the top 10 when they play them. So that will certainly help their resume. I don't think it really matters. You either win and you're in, you lose, you're out. Simple as that. Doesn't matter who's ranked where. Win, you're in. Lose, you're out. And we'll get down. I'm going to talk more about the rest of college football. Michigan gets a win without throwing a pass in the second half. What the hell is that all about? The whole Harbaugh situation, I think, is just a disaster. Your
boy Jimbo
Fisher. Well, I predicted 5 years. I think this is his 6th year, right? I predicted he'd be gone in 5 years. Yeah, so I missed it by 1. $75 million buyout. Half of that money should go to a players fund. All these ridiculous buyouts for these coaches, there should be a players fund where they have to give 50% of it to a players fund to pay for medical care for college football players after they're done. Something. It is so ridiculous that you can fail so miserably and get paid that kind of money, because these schools are in such a freaking frenzy to hire coaches and give them all this money and these ridiculous buyouts. Something has to be done. It's crazy. And now we're suddenly Texas A&M is the best job in football. What is, like, Norvell's going there?
Like, we got Dan Lanning, Kalen DeBoer, Mike Norvell. I mean, Washington, Oregon, and Florida State. I mean, those kind of, and Mike Elko at Duke, obviously. I mean, all those coaches. I mean, they just have them on all these short lists to go to Texas A&M, and I'm like, I mean, this program never wins anything. Yeah. And where'd they get this reputation?
There's a reason for that. First of all, you're in the SEC West. It is what it is. You're in the SEC West. I think it's, despite all the money and everything like that, and they create a great atmosphere. There's something about that place that is tough to win, and I just don't. I don't know why the hell Mike Norvell would leave Florida State to go to Texas A&M. I mean, Jimbo just did it for the money. It's not like,
why would A&M go back down that route of plucking a Florida State coach again?
Yeah, well,
I know it shouldn't matter.
Way different dude.
Way different dude, but I just don't think they want to rehash that.
Yeah, true. Maybe true, but I don't think Mike Norvell's not going anywhere.
No.
They're going to pay him whatever he needs to do, and he's going to stay right at Florida State, build what he's – if he turned his back on FSU, he would be a complete fraud for what he's told those players and how he's built his family and everything. He would lose all credibility. going forward. So
we don't need to be on Christmas tree watch this December.
No, silly, just silly. All right, so let's get to the Bucs here. And they get this 20-6 win over a bad Titans team that was beat up on the offensive line. And I mean, I don't want to sound like, this wasn't it was a win. You broke a 4-game losing streak against a team who once again had an absolute decimated offensive line, but at least you did this week what you didn't do last week, and that's rush the dadgum passer. You decided to rush a rookie quarterback and get after his ass. You finally decided to tell Devin White to run after the quarterback because he can't do much else. And Devin White had a good game. He was put in the right position to do what he did, and he ran after the quarterback and he hit him. Great job. He had a great game. He didn't do much in the run game as usual, but Derrick Henry didn't do much in the run game, and a lot of that was because of, I think, Kalijah Kancey played a great game. Levante David was phenomenal again. Vita Vea did his thing, but the Titans' offense is awful. I mean, Will Levis is not great. The play calling left a little bit to be desired, but the Bucs forced their defensive will on this team. Yeah. They beat them up in the trenches. They got after Levis in the passing game, and I think they had 5 sacks on a day, 5-6 sacks on a day.
They had 4 sacks in this game, and I think they had 10 tackles for loss.
Yeah, 10 tackles for loss.
And over 10 quarterback hits.
Yeah.
On Will Levis as well. I mean. And I thought, the first drive of the game, Tennessee, I think they showed they hadn't scored a touchdown on the first drive of the game all year, right, I don't believe.
Right.
And, of course, I'm watching the Bucs, and I'm like, of course, they're going to be the team that lets them score their first touchdown because the Bucs, the first drive, it wasn't looking so hot, if you recall.
No.
And then they got down to the red zone, and that's where the Bucs defense usually shows up, and they get that big stop. And then from there, I mean, the game plan just kind of became, all right, we're just going to send 5 or 6 every play.
Yeah.
At this guy, let's treat him like the rookie that he is. This offensive line isn't any good.
They play a lot of press man behind it, which I thought was great. They did what they should have been doing all year long. Right. And they played to their strengths for the first time defensively instead of trying to hide your weaknesses. Play to your strengths.
That's my point. It's like I'd have to go back and watch the film. Like I'm sure, I'll just use Devin White as an example. I'm sure Devin White probably had some plays still on his film where you go, "Oh, what are you doing, Devin?"
Yeah,
but the splash plays were all over the place today, and that's the difference. I can live with it when he's got the splash plays. And by the way, it's not like using him as an edge or anything like that. I think that I'm not into that idea. It's just as a regular blitzer coming through the middle, and he's always like the 5th man or something that's unblocked. That's all he did, and he makes the plays, and that's what Devin does really well.
Yes, he's fast. And he comes at these offensive linemen so fast, they can't get to him, and he's on the quarterback in a heartbeat. That's what he does best. Sticking him in zone coverage 20 yards off the ball is a waste. Sticking it and letting him play, straight up in the run game is a waste. He was still blocked every single time in the run game. I think he made 1 play in the run game. Everything else was Levante David and everybody else, and Kalijah Kancey. So, but again, play to your strengths, and what they did. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a game of big plays as well. Obviously, the Rashad White play, they catch him in a blitz, and Rashad has that explosion, man. He ran away from that linebacker. He only needed a step, but he ran away from that linebacker who was coming in. Hainsey gets a good block on the outside, and it was over after that. He just, he's got explosive speed, and he took it to the house. That was obviously a huge play. One of the biggest plays in the game was when Baker Mayfield got the ball batted down, and then he batted it down. That was going to be an interception at the 20-yard line.
Yep.
And in a 10-3 game, I think at that point, that was a huge play in the game. And Baker's interception was just god awful. He had 2 guys open underneath on a 3rd and 5. You're in field goal range. If you throw the underneath route, you're in field goal range, and he tries to take this deep shot.
Well, he's only got 5 interceptions this year through 9 games. I mean, I can live with that.
I can live with that too.
I can live that.
And his play on the screenplay was phenomenal. He was getting quick pressure because it was Geddes. Geddes got beat really right off the ball, and he somehow got that ball to Rashad White in a perfect spot. The timing was perfect. Hainsey gets a block. Oh, thank God, because I think 10 held again. I'm pretty sure Trey Palmer was holding on that play because the defensive back came up like this, like what and I was like, oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if he gets called for the third straight game on a big play and it has to come back? Because that's the play of the game. That's the play that turns the entire game around. I think the Bucs to that point had 9 plays for 1 total yard in the 3 previous drives. And that play turns the entire ball game around, gives them a little bit of space.
Yeah.
But that flag could have come out.
Well,
And
he got hosed later though. He got hosed later. He made a tremendous catch.
He did. That was what a catch. What a catch.
Yeah, that was like training camp preseason Trey Palmer right there, finally. And the NFL refs have to screw it up. Even after replay, JP. Even after, what are we doing? I don't get it. But no, I thought when they got that touchdown, I never felt like the game was really like in danger of the Bucs. I actually had a lot of confidence in that defense today because Levis looked complete. Like Levis every throw was just like a tick off or something. And it was just the pressure was doing enough that he had to get it out just enough.
It was
constant
pressure. They were around him all game long, and he was never comfortable. That's what you do to a rookie. Yeah. You don't let him sit back in the pocket like CJ Stroud and just pick your terrible zone apart.
Right. And another thing they did, and I can't wait to see the snap counts later because I'm curious. I saw a lot more Yaya Diaby out there. Oh, yeah. And I loved what I see. Yaya Diaby was everywhere.
Yeah. From
that dude has got to play more.
The hits on the quarterback, he is a player. And 9 is terrible. 9 can't even line up on sides, for God's sake. Just get him out. Like, it's just, I'm so tired of
I don't think he had any quarterback hits in this game.
No, he's a pair of shoes, man. He's just a pair. And he's not even a pair of shoes because a pair of shoes will line up on side.
He made some good plays in the run game. I'll give him that. He showed up a few times. They were there, I promise. But Yaya Diaby as a pass rusher is pretty miles ahead, I think, right now of Joe Tryon.
And what, 2 tackles for loss in the run game? Really good. Really. And he's explosive. Just look at his body, man. He looks like a player. Shayanka, no. He looks like a beach model. This guy can freaking play. Yaya's a bad man. He's so new to the game. He's only played, I think, 6 years of football. So let him learn. Let him go. He needs to see a ton of snaps. All right, and we got to talk about 13. Man, I mean, you love him and you hate him. You love him and you hate him. Like, what are you doing? I mean, huge drop on a third down that puts you in the scoring area. Huge drop in the end zone. And then he catches the ball at the 5-yard line. It drags 2 people into the end zone for a touchdown. He's running past guys, on the deep ball. I mean, God, Baker missed him on another deep ball where he had 2 steps. I mean, he's just maddening. And there was another one on the one he dropped right before the one he dropped. Baker's coming back to him in the end zone, and he runs the laziest piece of crap route. I don't know if he was tired, disgusted in himself, or what. He'd be the first one to tell you. Just some lazy ass rounded off. If he breaks that thing off and comes back to the goal line, it's a touchdown. And Baker came right back to him. He had some frustrations on the sideline today at himself for some of the drops. But,
yes. I mean, it's just kind of it's the Mike Evans experience.
It is.
I mean, it really is. He's
the Jameis of the wide receivers.
Well, I won't go that far. His highs are infinitely higher than Jameis's highs. Let's be honest. I mean, we're talking about a borderline Hall of Fame player here. But you just have to live. You're just gonna have to live with the drop. It's kind of how it happens. And I mean, he still ended up with what, 6 for 143?
Yeah.
6 for 143, and he's up to
88 touchdowns now, or 87.
Yeah, he passed Andre Reed for 16th all time, I think it is. Yeah, and he's on pace for 81 catches, 1,400 yards, and 11 scores.
I mean,
how it's hard to complain at that. It's just it could be even more. It's crazy.
Yeah, it could be so much more.
But I'm just glad they got him involved right away. Yeah. Because we've been talking about that. Get the guy involved in the game a little bit.
As far as Bowles goes, before the half, another debacle. 4th and 5 at their 41-yard line, and your defense is playing lights out, and it's a 7-3 ball game at that point. You got to go for that. Come on. Come on, 4th and 5, and Evans is getting open. You got to have a play for that right there. You got to have a play for that. It's a 7-3 game. No, come on.
I think the game, like, I could kill him. I kill him in Buffalo because you're on the road in Buffalo. You're the underdog, and you got to do those things. You got to take advantage of this. I thought he had full confidence in his team that they were going to be okay. I didn't hate it as much.
I hated it
this time around.
I hated it, and and then even then when you give them the ball, that's 40 seconds left. They're going to try to run it out. You got 3 timeouts. Make them punt the ball. Make them. Why don't in those situations? Here, this is what I don't understand. In those situations, you make them punt the football, right? So it's going to be probably 28 seconds, 30 seconds left, right? And they're going to be punting from their own end, like maybe even out of their end zone. All right? Why don't you send 10 guys? If you rough the punter, who gives a rat's ass? Now it's 30 or 20, 25 seconds left, and they're at the 25-yard line. Who cares? Who cares? Make them punt the ball out of their end zone. And even at that point, if he punts it out of the end zone and you catch it at the 50, you got 3 or 4 plays to get something. It's a total lay down. Once again, at the end of the half, doing nothing to steal a possession, doing nothing in terms of the timeouts, doing nothing. I know everybody, JP, they won the game. I don't care. I want to see good football. That was a horrible football game. That was a horrible – I saw a football game on Saturday night that would light your ass on fire. I mean, that was fun. That was a big plays, emotion. I mean, the place was going nuts. These were 2,000 people in Raymond James Stadium on Sunday.
Okay.
Nobody cares.
These were 2, 3 to 5 football teams. What were you expecting?
How many times did we run the ball up the middle for 2 yards? It's boring it's awful. That was an awful football game.
I don't think it's as bad as you said. I think it was a middle-of-the-road football game on a Sunday 1:00 hour on a hotter than usual November day at Raymond James Stadium, and clearly it was a little flat.
Because of the atmosphere I just gave. A beat up offensive line. So, whatever. All right, before we get to Todd Bowles, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to hear from Todd Bowles, get his thoughts on playing to his strengths finally. And we got a lot of other stuff to get to, a little bit more into Florida State. We got to get to UCF as well. The Bolts, we'll talk about that. Lots more to get to here on the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. And Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your testosterone right, get your nutrition right, and get your immune system right at BAMMC.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Geddes Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. But Jane can drain a tender to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom. You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become the real estate family. Concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or a top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 1-3-468-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com, Geddes Gordon, AW.com, or call 813-485-6808.
If it's the mortgage guy, did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa and Fitz saved $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? folks. That's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. It fits the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. The gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't. So check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of family-owned jewelry in the country, especially with summer to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in, find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. The best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road. Always find at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it once again. Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked my rate, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance. She stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done, and guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I did the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need a replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance to get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Monday as the Bucs get a big W. The Lightning fall 4-0 to Carolina on Saturday night. I think I got to take the L here. I went to FSU and forsake my job at Amalie Arena, and clearly my lack of presence there led to the worst performance of the year. I mean, without Kucherov, he just had an illness, I guess. They were awful.
Are you saying that you were a bigger loss than Kucherov to the lineup? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was probably more him than me.
Be lying to these people now. Come on now.
Okay, I think it was probably more him than me. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I'm kind of glad I missed that one.
And they got booed off the ice by the fans. You don't see that in Amalie often.
Sorry, Casey Hudson, who filled in for me. She had no highlights to talk about in the intermission break. So sorry about that, but them's the breaks. I mean, am I worried about the Lightning? Boy, that's 2 really flat performances on home ice. I mean, really flat. They come out great on Thursday night, but then just no pushback whatsoever on a very middling Chicago team. Carolina at least that's a team that they'll outwork you, and they did. They outworked the Lightning, and so yeah, I think there's a little concern at this point for me after those 2 really, really flat performances. But no Cooch, who has been such a dominant force on the ice all year long. I think maybe he's been so dominant that when he wasn't out there, they were like, what do we do now? What do we do? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
The power play looked a lot different without him out there, as it did when Stamkos was not there. You take one piece off the power play, they can't score. They can't score on it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So they'll go back on the road now. They got Chicago Thursday night. Not sure who they have.
They have St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah.
They're here.
Yeah. So now they need to pick up some points on this road trip because it's that was ugly. All right, let's get back to the Bucs. Let's hear from Todd Bowles, a victorious Todd Bowles, after this game. You know, last week was an embarrassment. This week, obviously, he made a lot of changes, and I want to tip my cap to him. I didn't think he would do it, but he did, and he was rewarded. Here we go.
It's a rocky road to get to today, but what a way for the defense to rebound today. Multiple sacks, touches on the quarterback, good offensive production. What did you say to the team today, and how did you prepare for this till the end of the season?
Well, like I told them, the answers to set in the room with us together. We have all our answers. We just got to play maybe football, understand how we play. We know how we got to play. Today, everybody made plays.
Why do you think there's such a big difference from last week to in playing mistake-free football that we did?
It's a good question. I wish you could answer that. We had a clunker last week. They came focused and practiced, determined to win the game. We cut out a lot of mistakes. The penalties were lighter. No, we got a couple late and but for the most part, those guys played a clean ball game. Offense did a good job on the ground. Defense did a good getting to the quarterback, at least trying to harass him. And Henry didn't go off on us.
Were you more aggressive in terms of bringing pressure on Will than you were?
We're more aggressive today, like we're all year, like we used to be. Just get back to basics,
Yes.
doing things that we do well, and playing fast football.
Yes. Sense during the week, Todd, that the defense was going to bounce back strong.
Play to your
Way to
strengths.
practice, the leadership, Levante, and Vita win. Those guys were the team, and the focus was there. So it's just a matter of playing on Sunday. We had those weeks before where it didn't show up, but it showed up this game. We made sure of it.
These situations, when those leaders do step up, like you just said, can you kind of get a little more insight as to what those guys did this week to help, or even over the last 4 games, to kind of get this team regrouped and dialed in the way they were today?
It's just keeping everybody together, the positivity, the focus, the understanding, the communication, and the guys when they're down, picking them up, everybody being in the same boat. Do a real good job at that.
What was key for your group on defense being as effective as they were? We talked about it last week, not affecting the quarterback, even though you had 3 sacks in that game. But for what they were able to do this week, what was kind of key to that? Was it just extra resources up front?
Big win first down. This is the team. If they control the ball as hot as it was today, it would have been a long day. We controlled the ball more than they did. I'm pretty sure we won first down. Letting Henry get started on first down, giving him second and manageable, and third and manageable makes for a long day.
Todd, you were talking about winning first down. A lot of tackles for loss, you guys, whether it's Levante, Elijah, Yaya, you guys had so many tackles for loss today.
A bunch of them, getting them out of their comfort zone was our number one job, because we knew if they stayed downhill and got Henry rolling, it was going to be a long day for us. So we got across the ball and made some plays.
How big was Rashad? Not only a touchdown, but getting positive yards for you down at the end when you're trying to kill the clock.
He played tough football. He played tough football. He was slamming it up in there. They got a very good D-line. His linebackers hit pretty hard. I know it wasn't no big runs, but the effectiveness of when he was slamming it up in there, the clock up was big for us.
What Baker against
Physical game.
Defense, right? Like touchdown to Rashad against a blitz. Just for him to have the day that he did against the defense, that does bring a lot of pressure.
Did a heck of a job. He had the one blip with the interception, but he settled down after that and made the right throws. He found Mike, he found Chris, found everybody, and he made the right throws at the right time. And sometimes just getting the ball in their hand and letting them run works for us, and Rashad did that.
Mike had a couple more drops. He's had 6 this year, but what was it safe for him to go to put that behind him and Baker come back to him after that?
Well, Mike's mentally tough. If he drops one, get right back to him. We know he's going to catch it again. He's going to be open multiple times. If we keep feeding him, we know he's going to come through for us.
It looked like Baker might have banged his thumb late in the game. Is he okay that way?
He hit it on the helmet. I'll see what it looks like when I go in.
Coach, obviously, Kalijah got a late start with that injury. What have you seen from him, week to week, and kind of the improvements that he's shown?
He's going to be
still
a player.
aggressive on the inside. He makes the edge rushers better because you're trying to double team him and beat it on the inside. So we got to get home on the outside. getting comfortable with the system. We understand where he is. He can do a lot of things for us, and we haven't put up his whole bag of tricks yet.
It seemed like you guys went back to a lot of the today. How do you think the team is?
Well, dude, Zion did a heck of a job playing man coverage and understanding the assignment of what we had to do. The way Hopkins has been playing this year has been incredible. So for them not to get the ball over the top like we had last week.
Was that a concerted effort to get more to playing more man again versus zone, or was it the flow of the game?
Game plan on how we look at people and how they look at us and what we can get away with. They play our best more than people do, so we can get away with more of it.
Coach, does it feel like your offense is starting to find some of the balance that you really want?
It's balance. We just got to stop mistakes. You know, there's always going to be more pass or more run depending on who we're playing. So it's never going to be a complete. We just want to be effective with whatever we do.
The Todd Bowles right there. Last week was tough for him, and it should have been. It should have been. I hate to say I told you so, but this doesn't just me, but so many people here in the local media, the Pewter Report guys we have on this show, we've been talking about this. You got to play to your strengths, man. Playing soft-ass zone defense. And Carlton Davis didn't play this week. Zion McCullum stepped in. I'm going to say he was great, but he didn't have to be because the damn pressure was overwhelming on Will Levis. If you can't cover, which they can't, especially in zone defense, you got to get after the quarterback. And look, I understand, as they play Brock Purdy and some better quarterbacks in this league, blitzing you're going to get burned every now and then, but I don't care. It's so much better to play to your strengths, and the chances are you're going to make more big plays. I mean, they get the one interception. Jamel Dean drops one. I mean,
oh my goodness!
Dude,
can we have a can we have a dialogue? Like, is anybody interested on this team? And I know Winfield finally got the gimme later on in the game that popped up in the air. But my goodness, is anybody interested in intercepting the football in this defense? Anybody?
No.
I mean, Levante dropped one. Jardine drops one in the end zone. I mean, if you're playing a better team, those little things there that change those games. Yes. It was a bad Tennessee team, but my goodness, somebody catch the football, please.
Yeah, that's just bad. They've got to get some plays from those guys. Got to get.
Yeah, I'll give the secondary credit. I didn't see any bust. Didn't see really any of those all game long. I know this isn't the greatest skills, the greatest group of skill receivers out there outside of Hopkins, but what do you have? 3 for 27, very quiet all day long.
Yeah,
shut him down. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 24 yards, and of course I love Greg Almond after the game. He was held to 11 rushes, 24 yards, and -4 yards, 1 catch. That's 20 total yards, his lowest offensive output in any game since 2017.
Wow.
That stands 90 games. Wow. No one has stopped Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was a starter at that time. Nobody has stopped Derrick Henry this much since he was in a cup role. And that's how good the Bucs game planned against him today.
And I'll eat this one because I said Derrick Henry was going to run for 200 on this defense. I didn't. And I'll say this, their offensive line, they lose their offensive tackle. They got to move the left guard to left tackle. False starts 2 times in a row.
And they did something that I called for too, by the way, and it generated a sack. Just speaking to what Bowles did. Vita Vea's sack, go look at where he lined up at. He lined up over the right tackle, over Millard, and he worked him. Yeah. He worked him and got a sack. And I think they had Shaq and GTS running through the middle. It's like, I'm happy to see it's almost as if Todd said, you know what? Screw it.
Right.
We're going to let's do some different things. Let's get back to being an aggressive football team. I'm an aggressive coordinator, and let's live that way. And look what happens.
Yeah, he's played so safe this year, so safe all year long, and finally let it go. And listen, and this is why I was so down on this team, because they kept doing the same thing all week. I'm like, Todd Bowles is not going to change. He's going to do the same shit every week. It's like the same. Nothing's going to change. Well, things changed. He had different personnel in there.
Keyshawn Vaughn was inactive.
Thank you.
He was inactive.
Thank you. So, yeah, they're different personnel. We had a lot of different schemes defensively, a lot of guys lining up in different places. Yeah, he changed. Thank God. And look what happened. Offensively, this was no gem, but they got done what they needed to get done. Yeah, they did it up. And Rashad White, I'm telling you, I said he was going to have, 1,300 yards from scrimmage this year, or even I bet on that. I bet the over. And he will. I think he's going to have – he's probably going to average close to 100 yards from scrimmage, I think, by the time because he's going to get better and better and better, and they're going to give him more touches.
Yeah.
He's explosive, and they got to give him the ball. But for God's sakes, can we not run the ball up the middle 18 times? I mean, it had to be for less than 2 yards carry.
Right, but there's context to it, though. I think when it was 20-6 later in the game, and Baker hit his thumb on the helmet, like Bull said, and he was grabbing it on the screen and all that. I think they ran like 6 or 7 times in a row after that.
Yeah.
And so I think that was probably the design, and they were just trying to milk the clock down. And I thought, honestly, I know it's one of those games where the box score didn't tell the whole story. I thought some of those runs were tough. I really
they
did.
were tough, but they were, when it seems like every time they tried to run outside, they had success. They did a nice toss sweep where Kate Otten was coming back and not cracking, but shield blocking on the defensive end, got outside really. And
they did an end around to Devin Tompkins to kind of manufacture a run game.
2 of them, and both got more than 5 yards. Yes,
and both worked. So I mean, I think they're starting to figure out what they are and what they can do, what they can't do, and what they're going to have to do if they want to get some semblance of a run game. And I think it's still. I mean, I know it's 10 games in. You want to see some things more, ironed out, or 9 games in, whatever. But I think they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Not saying it's going to be the greatest run game in the world, but I think they're getting. To me, the runs look a little tougher. Like they're looking a little bit like tougher runs lately. I guess is the way I'm trying to say it. It looks a little better.
Yeah, but the interior offensive line is still not very good. Not very good. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, I want to nail into really get into this college football, talk a little bit about the Florida State-Miami game, where the Gators are right now, USF, UCF. Yeah, and I think I heard Alex Golish say something that someone else has been saying, and all the USF fans are mad at him. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. Quick break here on the JP Peterson Show here on a Monday. Stay with us.
Do you have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially without coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversary coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance the purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get $5,000 diamond for only $3 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all It's all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a face evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you now. More with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to a Victory Monday. JP Peterson show here as the Buccaneers get a big 20-6 win. And USF gets a big win as well. I didn't see much of that game. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports joining me here. But I did see that it was sparsely attended. And here they are, 5-5, right?
5-5.
They got one game at USTA. Well, that's Friday night, right? They get a Friday night game, and then they'll come back for a Thanksgiving weekend Saturday game where all they got to do is beat a terrible Charlotte team, and they are bowl eligible in Alex Golesh's first year as head coach. You could barely ask for anything more. I would be giddy if I was a USF fan. But as I said last week, and I was chided by many, but I want to kind of reword what I said. The USF fans that are loyal, and there are a lot of loyal fans that have been going to these games even through the 1-win season. So I'm not talking to you folks. I'm talking to the other folks that need to step up and put an atmosphere in that place. And let's go. I know it's a Charlotte team, and I know it's Thanksgiving weekend, but can we not get 25, 30,000 in Raymond James Stadium for a game that they could get bowl eligible? Can we not do that? I think that's fair to ask.
Yeah. I was a little shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be the highest attended game by any means. I mean, it's Temple, it's noon. I get all that, but even the student section, which I thought, I said on Friday's show, the student section, I thought it showed up, big time this year for them. The student section was not even close. I mean, it looked like some of the shots that I saw, and if anybody has the shots like during like the beginning of the game, I don't think I've seen those, but during like middle parts, it looked like it was kind of empty at a lot of spots. Forget the actual, just regular seats. I mean, it was sparse is definitely the way to put it. So that was a little disappointing. And Golesh, I mean, I sent you the quote that he said, which I could pull it up real quick and read it. Rather than paraphrasing it. But he said, we got one home game left, Thanksgiving weekend on a Saturday, that we need to put people in these stands if for no other reason than these recruits and to see our guys get the support playing high-level, fun football in Tampa.
Yes.
That was from Alex Golesh, which I think is perfectly said.
Yeah.
And listen, this program's been through a lot, man. They really have. I mean, and Jim Leavitt was actually at the UCF game this weekend. And he took like a video, like a panning video, and he was kind of like, it's sad that USF is this, and he kind of put that out there. And I'm sure a lot of USF fans, hated that, but that was what Jim put.
It's true though. I mean,
there's truth to it. There's no doubt about it. But I just, the fan base. I mean, Alex Golesh has already gotten the same amount of wins that Jeff Scott had, and it only took him 10 games to do it.
Yep.
And there's a high chance you get bowl eligible. I mean, and I want it for the fan base. I really do because they deserve it.
100%. They do. But they also, they got to show up. They got to show up in this last game. And again, we're not asking for 60,000, not asking for 50, not asking for 40. 30's good. 30 would make that place rock. 25 would make it really good. And I'm talking about butts and seats, not tickets distributed. I'm talking about actually people coming through the turnstiles. And those numbers are counted, by the way. They're not necessarily made public all the time. So they need to put some more people in there. And listen, they're playing an entertaining brand of football. So let's go. So what happened at UCF? 45-3. What the hell was that? Over 15th ranked Oklahoma State? What the hell?
I told you when you asked me about to talk about the game, I said 127th rush defense in the NCAA going up against the number one leading rusher in all of the country, in Ollie Gordon. And they held him to 12 carries for 25 yards.
Make it make sense.
I can't figure it out. And UCF, who has a really good back, by the way, who you're going to see on Sundays, RJ Harvey, who now is top 10, I think, in all of FBS in rushing, goes off for over 200 yards, workhorse. We're in the space game uniforms. UCF is 7-0 wearing the space game uniforms.
Wow.
And the average margin of victory is like 20 point something. It's crazy. And it obviously got even bigger with a 45-3 win. But it was utter domination. Utter domination. The atmosphere was great. We had the storming of the field after.
Nice.
For beating a top 15 opponent. I was jealous that I wasn't there at the end because it was raining too. And it was one of those games where it was raining and everybody got more into it. Everybody was telling me, it's nobody left or anything. We all stayed and we're having fun. So it was a nice, unexpected victory. 45-3.
Nice.
Again, hard to explain what happened, but I love it.
All right, the game of the weekend, as far as I'm concerned, Florida State beats Miami. You talked a little bit about it earlier. It's just an incredible atmosphere. We're hearkening back to the 80s and the 90s and the aughts. Just really, really good stuff. And a lot of talented players out there. Really was. I think Miami's got a lot of talent. They've got some guys that are going to play on Sunday. They don't have a quarterback right now. Emory Williams is not a great thrower of the football. Van Dyke.
I thought he showed good composure, though, in that environment. I don't think he was really rattled necessarily. He just couldn't make the throws.
Was 8 of 22, 8 of 20. I mean, it was
right.
not,
And there were some plays there that he left out. But, I don't think he was rattled by any means by the environment.
Well, he hit that official right between the numbers. That was
so unfortunate because that guy was wide open.
He was open. Yeah, and that would have been a big third down conversion for them. But, Trey Benson rips off a big touchdown run, which it seems like he's done every game. Right. He ran hard. He ran really, really hard. Miami was good up front, and he ran hard. Keon Coleman makes the big punt return, gets the touchdown catch. Jordan Travis was phenomenal. I just thought Florida State played a really controlled game. I thought the onside kick, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all to start the second half. Your defense is playing so well. You gifted them 3 points there. You didn't need to in a close game. And you gifted him 7 points with was it Knowles, Kevin Knowles, who comes in on the
horrible angle.
Yeah, they give up an 85-yard touchdown pass. I think he was trying not to, friendly fire.
Well, he looked like he was trying to pick it off, but he also didn't put his hands up or anything. He just kind of went in. I don't know what he was doing.
You got to take the man. Whether it's a penalty or whatever, you just got to hit the guy. You got to hit him. You got to take him out. If he hits the guy there, it certainly isn't an 85-yard touchdown because Miami wasn't going to score. They were not going to drive for a score against that defense.
The momentum had flipped at that point.
Yeah, and it was a suffering atmosphere. And listen, you got to give it up for Mike Norvell. FSU has now won 18 games in a row. They're 10-0, and they've won 18 games in a row. They've beaten Miami 3 straight years and 10 out of the last 14. So
right.
It hasn't become much of a rivalry, to be honest with you, but it was still you felt the rivalry. And I just, seeing those white uniforms out there, Miami with the colors were just so classic on both sides.
Traditionals,
yeah, just really, really good stuff. And I think this series is pretty close to being, a top. I bet I'm going to say it right now. I think next year it'll be a top 10 matchup in Miami. And I think we're going to get back to that. Where
got to find a quarterback.
Matters. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they just got to find a quarterback. I mean, I think that's how I see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something though about Florida State, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this. In fact, you probably won't, because I'm getting a little irritated by some of the talking heads out there who are trying to discredit Florida State and, they aren't impressive against here. No one looked at this. You know, they've won 10 games. 7 of them have been by 3 scores or more.
Yeah.
The 3 games that were not by 3 scores or more that were all 1 score were Boston College, Clemson, and Miami.
Yeah.
All 3 of those teams are bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Okay, we're acting like they're 2-win teams or something. Florida State struggled. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have won those games by more. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's not as bad as some of that's being painted out there, that Florida State doesn't win convincingly. They look like this and whatever. I think BS, quite frankly, because Washington, if you want to, because they're the team that's right behind FSU in the ranking right now, Washington only has 4 wins by 3 scores or more, and those all came in the first 4 weeks of the season, where the best team they played was Cal. And they struggled against Arizona State at home, who's good. They struggled against Stanford, who's not very good. They let USC score over 40 on them. Their defense is leaky. FSU's defense is like top 15 in the country right now from a scoring standpoint. Yep. So I don't understand that. With that being said, though, okay, because these are 2 mutually exclusive things. I think they're better than Washington, but I'm starting to figure out who I think is owning the lane of college football. I'm starting to lay it out. Georgia looks like the best team in the nation right now again.
They do. They do.
Regardless of how you feel about Michigan, I still got them right there. Ohio State is starting to put teams away quickly. Mm-hmm. And I think Oregon, I truly believe this, I think Oregon, if they played neutral site against Florida State, would win that football game. Those are my 4 teams I think that have played the best football right now, and then I slide Florida State at 5, Washington at 6. Now, I know that's not how it's going to end up being ranked unless Florida State loses. I'm just saying I think those 4 teams are the 4 best teams that I've seen this year. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. And here's the thing about FSU. FSU can finish games. FSU finishes teams in the second half. And I don't care. Bring on Oregon, bring on Michigan, get through, 1 pass in the second half? Or I don't. Maybe they didn't throw any passes. Yeah. I don't care. Like, FSU has depth, and they will finish you. They'll make adjustments, and they'll finish you in the second half. They will. Again, Miami wasn't going to score. They got that lucky score. Otherwise, they don't sniff the end zone. So I think FSU can go toe to toe with anybody. I'm not saying they're better than everybody else.
Oh yeah, I think they can go toe to toe. They can go toe to toe.
They're going to be.
I don't think this is the 2014 team that they get into the playoff and they just get eviscerated right away. I don't think it's that. I'm just saying I think that those 4 teams right now I think are playing the best football. But Florida State still doesn't matter if you win or defeated, you get in.
Right, 100%. So they're headed that way. And look, they got North Alabama. They'll heal up a bunch of people. They'll go down to Gainesville. Look, Florida, I'll give them style points for putting up what they put up, 32 points.
They were winning that game in the second half at one point, and then their offense was keeping up, and then Jaden Daniels just over in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
He's so freaking good. I think he's the Heisman Trophy winner. I think he wrapped it up with that performance. But Florida's defense is really bad. But they can score. But I don't think they're going to score against FSU's defense. They'll get 20, maybe 14. It'll have to come in the first half. But I think FSU can put up 60 on them. I mean, there's.
I think it might. I don't think it's going to be quite the same template as the Miami game.
No, not even close. I
don't think it's going to be that, but I still think it has the chance to be close. I still do, because I think Florida might be fighting for bowl eligibility going into that game.
All right, we'll see. Well, we'll see. I think it has a chance to get ugly because of their defense. They can't tackle anybody. They can't tackle Trey Benson. They won't be able to tackle Keon Coleman. They ain't tackling Toafili. They ain't tackling they ain't tackling anybody. So, all right. What else did we not get into? Jimbo fired. The deal. Word is he already has a deal at West Virginia. Like, who
is that a thing?
It's a perfect place for him.
Dude, you got 75 million. You got 75 million reasons to go kick back on your ranch, enjoy your son, who I think is just committed somewhere. I don't know, and just do that. I wouldn't even coach if I were him. I would just lay low. Just lay low.
Yeah, probably could get away with that. But I think he's got too much of an ego. He's going to have to get back.
What a disaster, though. What a disaster.
You know what? The way A&M handled it, I said it 5-6 years ago. Good luck. Pay him all the money. He's going to rob you blind. He ain't going to do crap there. It's going to be a disaster. I was right. You were wrong. Many of us were right. You were wrong, A&M.
Watch them. If they're playing with Monopoly, you watch them. Watch them throw back at Dion. You watch.
Oh, I love it. I love
just it. For the storyline standpoint, just do it, please.
Dion and those
be hilarious.
Alumni. Oh my God. Yeah, good luck with that. All right. That'll do it for us today. We have a quicker version of the show. We'll be back tomorrow with a full 2-hour expanded version. We'll be at the patio on Friday night again. So check out the patio anytime. The best happy hour in South Tampa. Check it out. We'll see you next time.